Modern genetics. Complex patterns of inheritance. Take a few seconds and look at pictures of your friends and family. You're going to notice some have curly hair while others have straight hair, some are tall and some are very short, and others are just in between all the different heights. You're also going to notice eye color, hair color, skin color. These are different traits determined by a variety of inheritance patterns. We learned that Mendel selected simple pea plants to study. This is because it increased his chance to determine basic rules behind inheritance. However, many organisms have a much more complicated inheritance pattern, as you're going to learn about in this section. Many organism traits are controlled by single genes with two alleles, like the pea plant, and others by single genes with multiple alleles. Still, other traits are even controlled by many genes that act together. Look at this image of a snapdragon. This is a pink snapdragon showing what is called incomplete dominance. What this means is that neither parent is completely dominant, and therefore the phenotype of this heterozygous offspring in the picture is a mix of the parents. The pink snapdragon is a result of a red snapdragon crossed with a white snapdragon. Incomplete dominance has alleles that are not fully dominant. This is different from codominance, in which both alleles are fully expressed, resulting in organisms that display the characteristics of both parents. In codominance, the alleles are neither dominant nor recessive. Look at the chicken in here. Mendel's principle of dominant and recessive alleles does not explain why the heterozygous chickens have both black and white feathers. The alleles for feather color are codominant and neither is masked in these heterozygous chickens. Some traits are controlled by a single gene that has more than two alleles. Such a gene is said to have multiple alleles, which is three or more forms of a gene that code for a single trait. Even though a gene may have multiple alleles, an organism can only carry two of those alleles. And this is because chromosomes exist in pairs, and each chromosome in a pair carries only one allele for each gene. An example is this rabbit's coat color, which has four possible colors. However, as you can see, the colors that are represented are brown and white. Another example of multiple alleles is with human blood types. Human blood type is controlled by a gene with multiple alleles having four main blood types: A, B, AB, and O. The allele for blood type A and the allele for blood type B are codominant. Recall that when two codominant alleles are inherited, neither allele is masked. A person who inherits an allele from one parent, or who inherits an A allele from one parent, and a B allele from another parent will have type AB blood. The sex chromosomes are one of the 23 pairs of chromosomes in each body cell. The sex chromosomes carry genes that determine whether a person is male or female. They also carry genes that determine other traits. The sex chromosomes are the only chromosome pair that do not always match. Now, if you are a girl, your two sex chromosomes match. The two chromosomes are called X chromosomes. If you are a boy, your sex chromosomes do not match. One of them is an X chromosome and the other is a Y chromosome. The Y chromosome is much smaller than the X chromosome. Genes for some human traits are carried on the sex chromosomes. Genes on the X and Y chromosomes are often called sex-linked genes because their alleles are passed from parent to child on a sex chromosome. Traits controlled by sex-linked genes are called sex-linked traits. One sex-linked trait is red-green color blindness. A person with this trait cannot distinguish between red and green. Like other genes, sex-linked genes can have dominant and recessive alleles. In females, a dominant allele on one X chromosome will mask a recessive allele on the other X chromosome. But in males, there is usually no matching allele on the Y chromosome to mask that allele on the X chromosome. So as a result, any allele on the X chromosome, even if it's recessive, will produce the trait in the male who inherits it. When two or more genes affect a single trait, it is called polygenic inheritance. In humans, height and skin color have polygenic inheritance. For example, look at the height of students in a large school. They probably going to range from about 125 centimeters to 200 centimeters, with students of every possible height in between. This is also why you see a wide range of variety in hair and skin color. Now, one thing to consider when looking at an organism's phenotype depends on environment as well as its genes. For example, although a tree's genotype does not change throughout its lifetime, the tree's leaves vary in size, shape, and greenness from year to year depending on exposure to wind, weather, and sunlight. A Siamese cat has a unique appearance. It has a creamy white fur with black face, black paws, and a black tail. This is all due to an enzyme responsible for black fur, which is only activated at the cooler temperatures found at these cats' extremities. Now we know in humans, nutrition influences height, exercise affects your build, and exposure to sunlight darkens skin. So environmental factors can also affect human skills, such as playing a musical instrument. In summary, the product of a genotype is generally not a single rigidly defined phenotype, but a range of possibilities influenced by the environment. Okay, it's time to show what you know.